What is going on out there, peeps? All right, let's get back to Iraq. We know there was a huge summit. I was excited about it. I was hoping to hear some great things about it. And of course, all my hopes came true. We'll get into that here in just a second. Hey, look, if you guys are thinking about buying gold and silver, right now is a great time to do so. Go to our friends over there at Money Metals Exchange. The link is down below in the description. If you are a first-time buyer and you spend more than $100, use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and you will get a free half ounce of silver. If you're looking for my address, there it is right there. And for those of you, you already know I have an alternative website where I'm able to post videos that I cannot post here on YouTube. All right, so I went down and was reading all the different articles. There's a lot of information going on about the summit and its success. The weird thing is having Macron there. I believe he was the only non-Arab there. Anything that this guy's involved in makes me nervous, to be quite honest with you. Okay, so there was a lot of great countries. I think there was 9 in total that were there. And of course, what I noticed they were doing was really just wishing Iraq all the luck, and they all support Iraq because ready to be on their own, finally have their own sovereignty reinstated, be on their own, and all of them are agreeing to support Iraq with its need to be secure from ISIS and economically secure. They support the white paper reforms, and they all agreed on different forms of trade and security and education, the whole 9 yards. So good, that's what I really was hoping for. Now we have this whole issue going on with Afghanistan. So when I got to this article, I thought it was interesting because this is Blinken, okay, talking about they're still going to agree to pull out of Iraq like they promised on time. So with the United States pulling out of Iraq and we paying attention to what's going on over there in Afghanistan, let's hope we don't see the same thing happen. What I mean by that is we pull out, then all of a sudden ISIS magically pops from behind some tree and there's 20,000 of them and they just quickly within 11 days take over the country. So keep my fingers crossed that doesn't happen. But most people there that were in this summit, including the people from Iran, were there. They did not bring Assad after all from Syria. But these nations all agreed to be brothers, unite, work with one another, get each other's back, the whole 9 yards. That's what I was looking for. It goes all the way down there. Now, you guys brought to my attention the article in which you seen a financial minister of Iraq, Alawi, say he supports a floating currency. I mean a floating exchange rate, which is good. When you have strong currency, then you would hope for that. That means the market dictates the value of the Iraqi dinar. Now, that means it's not pegged to the US dollar any longer. Good. Okay, that's what you want. But it's not a true floating exchange rate. It's what we call managed floating or a dirty float. In other words, it floats on its own depending on what the market thinks of it. But if it goes too far one way or the other, the bank interferes with the rate change and affects it either way, going up or down. So that's what they are right now. They are a dirty float or a managed float to keep it within a certain range. A free float means it's going to go up or down based on what people really feel about what's going on in Iraq. That's a good one if you have a strong dollar, okay? Now, in the past, I've done this comparison because people ask me all the time, come on, Pimpy, you must have an idea or feeling. You kind of almost feels like you're flip-flopping. And I go, no, I never flip-flop when it comes to stuff. You guys are not listening to me. I have a lady that's leaving comments under my videos for this, and she goes, the dong in Iraq dinar rate already changed. We're getting $15 for the dong, and we're getting like $5 for the dinar. I was like, what the hell she's talking about? She comments again. She said, this is why nobody believes you, because you're lying. The rate changes already happened. I was like, well, okay. Then I guess you don't need to listen to me no more. Congratulations, you're rich, I guess. I don't know if you believe that. If you got some information you want to share other than these idiots out there lying to you guys, like you got real physical proof, like, hey, Pimpy, look at, I went down to the bank. Here I am. See my bank account? It says I got minus $100. I'm overdrawn. I did my dinar. Look at me. I'm already a millionaire. If you could do that, I'd be impressed. I would believe you 100% after that. But running around just saying that the dinar and the dong rate already changed and you have zero proof of it. Zero. This is what I'm talking about. I will talk about the things that I can prove. That doesn't mean that I don't want an RI or an RV. I would love for that to happen, but I'm a realist. I believe the Iraqi dinar rate is going to change for the better. I believe it's going to get back up there. And the reason for that is one of the things I've done before in the past, when I had less than 20,000 subscribers, is that I did a comparison to the Iraqi government, or the Iraq country and the Kuwait country. And if you look at the things that contribute to the value of the dinars, their currencies, then you could see that Iraq clearly has more to offer, I should say, and should have a stronger dollar. But right now, I believe the Kuwait dinar is the most valuable currency out there. So let's make a comparison. Kuwait versus Iraq. I'm going to go down the list. I've done this before in the past so you guys could see, okay? The Kuwait dinar is the most valuable currency out there. If you go to, this index, I don't know how to pronounce that, but anyways, you put in Kuwait versus Iraq. We're going to do a side-by-side comparison, and let's see which country's the strongest and has the most potential, okay? Kuwait's already got a strong dinar. Let me show you why. I know the Iraqi dinar is eventually going to catch and pass the value of the Kuwait dinar. And if anything, it's probably going to be the most valuable currency. Okay, all this is just geographics. Nobody cares about that. Okay, I do want to make a point. Let's see, where's it at on here? Okay, look, real quick, demographics. Look at the population. Iraq is much more stronger and has more workable people. Most of the working age people in Kuwait are getting up there in age, where most of the working people in Iraq are just now coming of working age. All right, that means they have more people in the labor force. They could do more work. Okay, so let's get past this part here. And all this other stuff is just economy. When you get here to the economy, what you're going to see is this is as of 2017, all right? So it's a little bit older. I wish it was a little bit more established, but it's not. When you go to the, and I'll leave this link in the video just so you guys can come here and play with this. When you go here, you're going to see side by side, Iraq is way stronger of an economy right now. In 2017, that is much stronger. It's much stronger now. They're way stronger than Kuwait. If the value of their dollar is based on their GDP, interest rates, and all those other things, Iraq is crushing them. So stop stressing, people. Yes, eventually, nobody knows when, but eventually they're going to catch and pass up the Kuwait dinar. And I've been telling people, if you have enough dinar, when their first rate change takes place, I have a feeling it's going to be a little bit on the low side, not too low. But let's say it is at $1.19, because I believe the BTI report that we saw, and I have emailed them, I'm waiting for them to respond back. I think they said in 2017, the Iraqi dinar was actually had a value of $1.74. If it's at $1.74, let's just say, okay, let's roll with it. $1.74, it comes out. Let's say it does hit $1.74. A bulk of you people are going to go running down there and you're going to cash it in because you just want to hear it do that. I say this, if you have enough dinar to do this, I say you take enough down there to pay off all your bills, to get enough money to live very, very comfortably, and then hold on to some. Exchange rate's going to keep going up because they're a much stronger country than Kuwait is. This is going to be the trading mecca of the Middle East. There's no doubt about it. We know China wanted Iraq to be the center point for their Belt Initiative, all right? We know this, the new Silk Road, and they pumped a ton of money into Iraq. Okay, that changed. But look, if you just go through here, I'll leave the link in there. You could just read side by side. Okay, you could read side by side how much stronger. Their GDP power is way stronger. The GDP rate growth, look at this real quick. In 2017, it's supposed to be at minus 2.1. Their GDP growth is 0.04. In 16, it was 11. Well, here's the thing. In 2018, the GDP was at 6 point something. And it's projected in 2019, 6 point some, and their GDP is expected to grow to between 11% and 16% in 2020. That's huge GDP. For those of you who are not paying attention, we're fussing over here in the United States just to reach 3%. We would be happy if we had 3% GDP growth, all right? Yay! They're talking about somewhere between 11 and 16%. That's smashing everybody. This country's established. This country needs reconstruction. This company's rocking and rolling. I mean, country's rocking and rolling. This country's just getting started. All right. And already they're way ahead of Kuwait in this side-by-side comparison. Look at the labor force. Remember I was telling you they had more workable people? Look at 2.695. This is in 2017. And they had 8.9. There's much more now, okay? Unemployment rate is high. We know it's high in Iraq because they haven't been giving them damn jobs. That's because they need to get some foreign investors in there. And, oh, that's another thing I want to bring up. Some of you guys are like, no, if they do the LOP, and what happens if they're right? And, you know, then our 25,000 becomes 25. Are you kidding me? What company then? What company is going to risk going into Iraq after they just screwed over millions of people? Millions of people, they screwed them over on that rate. No. We all know investments is a risk, but you do that, you could see a backlash like you wouldn't believe. There's no way in God's green earth that you're going to see Iraq screw people over. That's why I know I'm right when I talk about the differences in the rates, okay? You're going to see the rate growth for when they do the redenomination, okay? But look at these other things. Look at this industry: petroleum, petrochemicals, cement, shipbuilding and repairing, water, food, petroleum, chemicals, textile, leathers, construction materials. Actually, believe it or not, the funny thing is one of the fastest, and the company is growing at a phenomenal rate right now in Iraq, and of course, because it makes good sense. Okay, right now in Iraq, what we're seeing is the cement companies are growing at record rates. But look at the difference that we have here. Okay, then you just keep going down here. Look at this agriculture. Hey, they got fish. Okay, well, Iraq has wheat, barley, rice, vegetables, dates, cotton, cattle, sheep, poultry. Yes. Do you see what I'm saying? If Kuwait's dollar is the most valuable currency, and you see how much more stronger Iraq is, what in God's green earth? What makes you think that Iraq has no potential to not only catch, but pass up Kuwait? We know they have all kinds of problems with the government and corruption. We get that. Okay, but here's what those people that are always naysayers, they're the ones that I read articles about. That's what they say: unstable government, corrupt government. But what they never tell you is what if? What if the government is fine? And we know it is. We know Iraqi Dinar is kicking butt right now. It gets fixed and the corruption's down. You know what I mean? What if the government becomes stable? They don't tell you about that what if scenario. So I'm telling you, what if? Okay, so look at the revenues, their budgets, okay? The revenues in 2017, 5280. Look at it, 63, much higher. Okay, expenditures, yeah, much higher. Okay, so you got your industries. What else do we got here? Look at their production went down, their production went up. Well, you can look at the exports. That's another thing to look at. I didn't think about. But under exports and commodities, you got oil and refined products and fertilizer. Iraq has oil, crude materials, excludes fuels, fish, and live animals. That's excluding, I mean. So if crude oil, 99% of the revenues generated, see, that's what I was talking about. They needed to build more of the private sector, and they did. When you do a side-by-side comparison of Kuwait and Iraq, it is clear that Iraq is a much more productive country. Back when I did this particular video, Al-Qadimi was not in office. We were still dealing with Maliki. So a lot of that corruption has been cleaned up. A lot of it has changed. Again, they're not relying so much on oil any longer. They're starting to build up a lot of their private sector. Take the population into control. They have a bigger labor force, Iraq does, which helps. Let's see what else here. We got the exchange rate on the dinar. All right, the Kuwait. Look, we see this. We know that it's off. We know this. We know that the Kuwait dinar is way more valuable than the ones that are in
damn dogs.
Iraq. So the dinar in Kuwait is much more stronger. Okay, look at the reserves. Look at the difference in reserves. Okay, so we got blendings different. It's cheaper now here than it is in Kuwait. And I want you to just go through and take a look at it side by side. You can go to energy and you can see without a doubt, that Iraq is much more stronger than Kuwait is. And so if Kuwait right now has the most valuable currency, the most valuable currency, then there's no way in heck that Iraq is not only going to catch them, but pass them up. So the MDX Omnidia, all right, it does these comparisons side by side. I will leave that link, like I said, underneath the video for you. But I did go back to that, but I didn't go back to it until like months later and read side by side into consideration a lot of other things that affect the currency. And I'll stand by now what I said back then. I do believe without a doubt that Iraq's currency will be and should be a lot more valuable than the Kuwait. Okay? There's so many more reasons why. If you go and you look and do the research on what makes the Kuwait dinar as valuable as it is, and then go back and look at where Iraq is in comparison, you'll see that indeed Iraq's currency should be a lot more valuable. Okay? So we know there's a lot of other things going on. We know they invaded one country, invaded another, and the devaluation and ISIS. It's been one thing after another. Not to mention, for the longest time, the corrupt government has been in control of Iraq for a long time. What I'm seeing with Al-Qademi and holding these summits together, getting out there, appears to be taking the lead of the countries over there in the Middle East, pulling all the Arab nations together, talking about trade, international border crossing of trades and goods, wanting peace, no more threats to people, rebuilding the private sector, trying to get away from oil. All of these things to me are good signs. Now, again, to my trolls down there, look, I get it. I understand why you feel frustrated. I understand why you have no faith in the Iraqi dinar any longer. Some of you, like I said, have been in this for a long time, and you've heard one promise after another promise after another promise. These so-called gurus on the YouTube talking about their back screens and their tier ones and they got codes, and you get it. I get it. I know, because I used to listen to them myself. So don't fall for that no more. Don't let them blow hopium up your butt. There's other things we can watch for to see that the currency is going to go up in value. Whether they do it through an RI, RV, or just through a natural progressive movement forward. So the comparison side by side was to show you guys that there's no reason for the Iraqi dinar to be this low in value. Whether it does catch the Kuwait dinar and pass it or not, it should at least be up there near where the Kuwait dinar is. But again, in my opinion, I think it's going to pass it up. Anyways, I just wanted to show this to you guys. I did this comparison before, but I've had conversations with people, and everybody does make a lot of comparisons to Kuwait. Understand that the circumstances are different, because everybody's like, oh, remember when they did that to the Kuwait dinar? Yeah, I do. I know that. I remember it. But there are different circumstances that were involved. Nonetheless, if you do a side-by-side comparison of these countries, you can see what I'm talking about. There's no reason at all for the Iraqi dinar to be down this low and not eventually move up to catch the Kuwait dinar. All right? All right, you guys, that's it for now. Hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I surely do appreciate it. And I'll catch you later. I'm out.